Hello, it's Cocoa Spice Beauty, and I want to talk about um, essentially marriage equality, and I guess specifically about the sermon that my minister preached a couple weeks ago. I was not there in attendance, but they recorded them, and everybody was like, "You should listen to it. It was a really great lesson." And so I did. I looked it up. And if anyone would like to, it's West End Church of Christ, Knoxville, Tennessee. And you can look up on the website and click on the link and I can add that link too. And so it was from July, let's see, last week was the 20th, so the 13th. Oh, was the 20th on Monday? So the 19th. So for the 12th. Yeah. So it was July 12th. Um, is it 12th? 12th. So July 12th. 12th. Yeah, 12th. I don't say that word too often, nor do I spell it too often. But yes. So the summer from July 12th. Um, and yes, I think he's a really good speaker. And the first half, I wanted to turn it off because I don't. He talks about the decline of this Christian nation. I have never known America to be a Christian nation. I'm thinking people say this was a Christian nation because polls have indicated that many Americans believe in God. But there's one thing for the country to be based on Christian ideals, and it's another thing to put it into practice. And I just don't understand how America can be founded upon or considered a Christian nation when, I mean, colonists came and tried to wipe out the indigenous people here. And then you relegated them to, well, the survivors, relegating the survivors to reservations. Um, and then, having all this racial inequality stemming from, slavery. So, I mean, there's been so much that has happened here in this country, and many people claimed to believe in God and hold God in high esteem, and they're a believer in Jesus, yet they have committed heinous crimes. I believe every major religion has committed heinous crimes with that justification, the religion justifying them in their actions. So when my minister says, we're moving away from the Christian foundations of this nation, I'll question that. I'm wondering what are you talking about? Certainly there were Christian ideals, but again, it hasn't been really practiced. And so, and as a Christian, the scriptures, from my understanding and from what's been taught to me, it condemns homosexuality. However, it also tells us that we are to love everyone. And that means people that appear and seem and are unlovable at times. We are to treat people fairly and to treat them with love. And that was my whole thing whenever I heard the Supreme Court legalize same-sex marriage. My thought was that, oh goodness, Father, please come take me now. This country's going to hell in a handbasket. I didn't have any of those thoughts because, I mean, this is a secular government. This is a secular society that we live in. Our laws, we have to separate, church and state. I have a legal background, so, and it was posed, that very question was posed to us in law school. And my professor said, who here believes in gay marriage? And so, based upon my belief, I was like, nope. And then she says, strictly legal, strictly, in the legal sense. If you go by strictly legal or the law, who should be able to get married? Should it be limited to heterosexual couples? You have to take religion away from that and have to keep religion separate and apart from the law. And I was like, well, I don't really have a choice because my objection is based in scripture, not in the law. So I was like, well, legally speaking, no one should be prohibited from being married, whether there's two men, two women, or a man or a woman. And that's been several years ago. And so when the Supreme Court was like, yeah, hey, we're going to legalize same-sex marriage, all these Christians said some of the most hateful, disgusting, vile things. And I just couldn't believe that. I mean, nothing should shock me anymore, really. But they were like, Jesus didn't die so these people could, have same-sex marriage. This is despicable. They're disgusting. They F each other in the A. And, I mean, I'm just like, oh my goodness. They're like, going to hell, you faggots. It was a whole bunch of ugly things said in the name of religion, in the name of scripture. God condemns you, you're going to hell. And I'm just like, well, what God upholds this vile, disgusting words that are proceeding from your mouth and this hateful, ugly attitude? I mean, so I was like, aren't we supposed to love our neighbor? So I made that Facebook post, love thy neighbor, because even if you don't agree, even if you have a religious objection, our faith, our religion doesn't give us or anyone else the license to discriminate or to treat each other with disrespect. So let us love each other. Because if Christians want to make disciples and want to further the cause of Christ, that having an ugly attitude, a hateful attitude, is not going to do that. It's not going to further his cause, and he won't be pleased because we are to be loving and treat each other with respect. Alrighty. Thanks.